Hello YouTube. Quick tip here. This is back on the Browning Buckmark. If you watch my first video, you'll have remembered me cursing a good bit and fiddling around and being somewhat annoyed at not being able to figure out what the trick was to getting the hammer in and out easily and getting the safety in and out easily. And it was bugging me because I knew that there was something and I missed it. And I was putting one together at the shop and I realized what it was, and so I came back here to talk about it. And what it was is I was staring at this thing saying to myself, why is this so hard? Why would they make something where I've got to put all sorts of pressure on this piece while trying to line up with another piece and risk bending all of them, and then have the spring come out and push against this piece, making it impossible to get out without dinging everything up? And I said, they wouldn't. That's just not how they build guns. Almost everything on a gun has a function. Actually, let me rephrase that. Everything on a gun has a function. It may be to make manufacturing easier. It may be to actually give you a way to deal with it better. And in this case, that is exactly what we have. I was sitting here staring at it and I was like, okay, what do we have here? And we've got this hole, which is where the slide lock lever goes. We've got the hammer, hammer pin. We've got the sear spring hole here. Back here is the actual hole for the sear. This is a screw hole. And I was like, who goes here? And then I realized, that hole goes all the way through the gun and nothing goes through it. There's no pin that goes in there. It has no function, and it wasn't required to manufacture it from anything I could tell, but it happens to go straight across the backside of the hammer strut, which means that if we want to take this apart without and put it back together without killing ourselves, all we have to do is pull the hammer back to essentially the cocked position and drop a punch in there. Ta-da! That's it. No more pressure on the hammer. At this point, the pin that holds the hammer comes right out. The hammer comes right out, and the safety comes right out. None of it with banging up the gun. Now, if you can look down in there and see, throw some extra light on there. The punch is coming straight across the back of the hammer, just like a lot of 1911s have a similar situation to keep that spring captivated. Now, if we needed to get it out, we could pop it out now and then just use a punch to push it back down and reset this for when we want it to get in there. So you can still take it out to clean it if you want to get in there, but if you don't need to get in there and you're just trying to assemble or disassemble, that's what that hole is all about. And that will make life for you, hopefully, much easier, as it did for me. Now, I never remember what the right angle to put this guy in. Don't know why. Seems like this should be a more intuitive piece, but it's like, now, let's try that again. A little less goofy. There we go. So that slides in like that. The hammer, we're not going to have to worry about getting the hammer exactly where it has to be, because it has no, it's gonna just flop around right by exactly where we want it to be. Hammer pin. Whoops, that's the sear pin. What did I do with the hammer pin? There it went. So I'm not going to worry about the safety right now. I'm just going to get the hammer lined up. Well, obviously, even without the spring pressure, you still have to pay attention to what you're doing. And apparently, I'm just not a very good shot today. But the point is, with that extra spring pushing up against this was a real pain in the butt last time. And this time, it's only a pain in the butt because of probably a little too much caffeine in the afternoon. got it in there, but the hammer was all the way through. Well, goodness, nothing like trying to show you how much easier it is and then having an even worse time of it. But the point is that spring is captivated, and if I line this stupid thing up, then all my problems will go away. My whole issue here is just lining up the pin to the hole. I'm not sure what the deal here is. Come on. Probably a lack of adequate light is not doing me any great favors, but alright. So now we've got it started through the hammer. Line up the safety. Pop right out. So now these pieces are in here, and I got to do the whole thing without worrying about spring tension. And all I have to do now is screw up. So that you do still have to worry about one little bit, which is the hammer strut does have to be dangling into the hole where it belongs. So I got a little excited there. Now there's not going to be any pressure on it, but it does still have to be, in the right position. So I'm going to try it again. This time I'm going to pay a little bit more attention to where that guy's going. Yes. Alright, so now he's in here and the hammer strut is sitting right down in there. So the hammer still can move forward freely, but if I put pressure on it, from this point I will engage the actual spring, at which point now my punch can come out. Now it's under tension again. So that's the whole trick there to getting that back together without having to fight the hammer strut spring tension that whole time. That's all. Have fun. Stay safe.